As I stood in the kitchen, the morning light danced through the curtains, creating a gentle glow over the countertops, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee lingered in the air. In the stillness of the house, an unsettling silence lingered, as if the familiar routine of Dean getting ready for work had vanished into thin air. Today, as with countless other days, he departed early, his car fading into the distance, leaving me enveloped in quietude alongside Finn, our golden retriever, who was my sole companion. As I savored my coffee, a profound sense of solitude enveloped me, a solitude that had deepened into an expansive emptiness over the years. As I watched Finn in the backyard, his favorite toy in tow, his tail wagged with uncontainable happiness, a scene that spoke volumes of his carefree spirit. Yet hidden beneath the facade of this perfect suburban existence, a secret lingered, one that threatened to unravel all that I cherished. My heart raced as I recalled the unexpected visitor, Mark, whose presence had awakened something deep within me, something that felt forbidden. And then there was Finn, whose once innocent companionship had transformed into something altogether different. A chill coursed through me as I reflected on the threshold I had breached, the limits I had broken. What might unfold if Dean ever discovered the truth? The question lingered in my mind, casting a shadow over the bright morning. As I placed my cup on the table, the doorbell chimed, shattering the stillness of the moment. My heart raced with excitement. Who might it be? During the summer of 1970, golden rays stretched across our suburban street as the aroma of freshly mowed grass blended with the soft buzz of lawnmowers in the background. My name is Sloan, a 32-year-old housewife who finds joy in nurturing my garden and cherishes every moment spent with my family. Each morning, as the sun began to rise, my husband Dean, a dedicated salesman, would set off on his daily journey. I would stand on our porch watching his car fade into the distance, waving goodbye with a mix of pride and longing. Our home, adorned with the charming white picket fence and filled with the joyful sounds of children at play, felt like a perfect representation of an ideal life. As I observed Finn, our golden retriever, darting after a squirrel with his tail wagging excitedly, a sense of unease washed over me. Amidst the beauty of our existence, a hidden truth lingered, a looming darkness that could dismantle all we had created. Finn had been a constant source of comfort and companionship over the past 5 years. He was my trusted companion, the one who held my secrets close, never letting them slip away. His eyes, brimming with empathy, appeared to inquire about my troubles, as if they could feel the storm brewing inside me. Once upon a time, on a serene afternoon, Dean found himself away on a business trip. The neighborhood held its breath, the familiar laughter of children giving way to an unsettling quiet that wrapped around the streets. As I tended to the roses in the garden, a gentle knock at the back door caught my attention. Anticipating it could be a neighbor, I brushed my hands on my apron and made my way to the door. Before me stood not a familiar face, but a stranger I had yet to encounter. He stood tall, exuding a rugged charm, his eyes possessing a depth that felt as if they could peer right into my soul. He shared his name, Mark, a companion of Dean from their college days, just passing through the town. His voice flowed effortlessly, reminiscent of soft fabric, and there was an intriguing quality to his presence that was both reassuring and slightly disconcerting. Mark inquired about joining me for a cup of coffee, and despite my reservations, I found myself extending an invitation. In the kitchen, we lingered in a quiet moment, the only sounds being the rhythmic ticking of the clock and the sporadic barks of Finn echoing from outside. As we conversed, I felt an undeniable attraction to him, captivated by his tales of escapades and the vibrant life he experienced beyond our quaint little town. The dialogue took a turn, growing more intimate, and suddenly I found myself revealing secrets I had kept hidden even from Dean. Mark's attention was unwavering. His eyes locked onto mine, and in that moment I sensed a bond, a shared understanding that stirred both excitement and fear within me. As the afternoon faded into evening, the sun dipped low, spilling a golden light through the kitchen window, and Mark leaned in a little closer as his hand lightly touched mine. An electric thrill coursed through my body. In that moment, the weight of the situation dawned on me. My heart raced, not only from the excitement of this unforeseen meeting, but also from the apprehension of what it might signify for my life. For my marriage, Mark departed shortly after vowing to stay connected. His kiss on my cheek, lingering like an unspoken secret. I stood there, the door shutting behind him, sensing that I had stepped over a threshold from which I could never come back. The days that came after were a whirlwind of events. I nurtured in the garden, spent time with Finn, and put on a brave face as if everything remained the same. Yet with each ring of the phone, my heart raced, caught between the thrill and the fear that it could be Mark one evening. While I was arranging the table for dinner, Dean rang to let me know he would be home later than usual. The weight of relief hung in the air, intertwined with an emerging thread of guilt that tugged at the heart. I realized it was time to face the truth of what had transpired, to grasp the reasons behind my attraction to Mark, and to comprehend why I had let myself wander into thoughts that threatened to unravel the life I had created with Dean. As I lay in bed that night, the house enveloped in silence, save for the gentle rhythm of Finn's soft snoring at my feet, I came to understand that my secret extended far beyond just Mark. It was about that part of me that felt confined, the part that longed for something beyond the monotony of suburban existence. It was a haunting thought, the possibility that I might not be the person I believe myself to be, and that this hidden truth could unravel not only my marriage, but also the very essence of who I am. As I slipped into a restless slumber, I sensed that the days ahead would challenge the core of our existence, uncovering realities that could either strengthen or fracture the connections we cherished. Each morning, as Dean steps out for work, he plants a gentle kiss on my cheek, briefcase in hand, assuring me he'll return by dinner time. Once he departs, the home embraces a tranquil hush, occasionally interrupted by Finn's distant bark. As I go about my days, cleaning, cooking, and nurturing my garden, there's an additional thread woven into my routine, a thread that weaves away the loneliness that lingers in Dean's absence. Each morning unfolds with a rhythm that feels as instinctive as the air I draw in. Once Dean departs, I brew a cup of coffee, settle at the kitchen table, and observe Finn as he enjoys his time in the backyard. In these hushed instances, the hidden narrative starts to reveal itself. With Finn by my side, I escape to my haven, the cozy space at the back of the house that Dean affectionately refers to as my hobby room. In this cozy nook, surrounded by the whispers of pages and the warm embrace of light, I discover a sense of peace. I take out my journal, its leather cover softened by time, and start to pen my thoughts. My entries go beyond the ordinary aspects of my day. They explore the intricate layers of my mind, my longings, and the whispers of my soul that I've kept tucked away. Today I share the tale of Mark. His surprise arrival, the way his presence transformed the atmosphere, and the electric sensation of his hand that ignited a thrilling secret within me. I weave together the confusion, the guilt, and the undeniable attraction I experienced. Putting my thoughts into words allows me to navigate these emotions, to grasp the reasons behind my attraction to him, and to reflect on why I confided in him things I've never revealed to anyone else. As I compose these words, Finn sprawls at my feet, his head nestled on my slippers, his gaze occasionally rising to connect with mine as if sharing a silent understanding. I'm here for you. And he stands as my quiet observer, the guardian of my hidden truths. In his company, I find the courage to delve into the depths of myself that I've long kept concealed. The morning light dances, weaving tales through the shadows that play upon the pages of my journal. I share tales of my life with Dean, highlighting the love we nurture, yet also touching on the occasional monotony that sneaks in, the sensation of being caught in a repetitive cycle. I share with the pages how Mark's visit ignited a sense of vitality within me, how tales of journeys and escapades awakened a fire inside that I believed had faded away. I take a moment, my pen suspended above the page as I reflect on the depth of my emotions. What does it mean to be deeply influenced by another man? Could this be an indication of something lacking in my marriage? Or is it just a passing whim, a momentary escape from the everyday routine? The stillness of the home wraps around me like a warm blanket, inviting me to explore the depths of my imagination. I share tales of my anxieties, the possible outcomes of my choices, the life I've created alongside Dean, and how a single miscalculation could bring it all crashing down. Yet I find myself weaving tales about my dreams, those hidden aspirations I've carefully set aside beneath the weight of obligation and responsibility. Visions of adventure, of embracing life outside the confines of the ordinary, of savoring that thrill that Mark infused into every moment. As the morning transitions into afternoon, I gently close my journal, experiencing a blend of relief and anxiety. Crafting words has consistently served as my refuge, a means to face the darkness that lingers inside me. Yet today, it seems to transcend mere escape. It resonates like a heartfelt revelation, a quiet plea for empathy, or maybe for absolution. I rise to my feet, extending my legs, and gaze out the window. In the garden, Finn dances among the butterflies, his tail, a whirlwind of excitement and joy. His innocence brings a smile to my face, reflecting the pure simplicity of his joy. If only my journey could unfold with such simplicity. Taking a deep breath, I choose to immerse myself in the garden for the day, hoping that the hands-on work will help untangle my thoughts. Yet as I immerse myself in my tasks, my mind wanders back to Mark, to that gentle kiss on my cheek that held a sense of promise, to the way his gaze seemed to penetrate deep into my very being.
As I care for my roses, trimming away the faded blooms, I come to understand that my truth extends beyond just Mark. It's about that part of me that feels confined, the part that longs for something beyond the monotony of suburban existence. It's a tale woven with the threads of fear, where the protagonist grapples with the unsettling thought that they may not be the person they believe themselves to be.
This hidden truth looms large, threatening to unravel not only the bonds of their marriage, but the very essence of who they are. As the day unfolds and the sun dips below the horizon, painting the garden in hues of gold and amber, I sense that the days ahead will weave a tapestry of challenges that will shape our existence. They will unveil truths that have the power to either strengthen or fracture the connections we cherish. For the moment, I immerse myself in the splendor of the garden, the joyful barks of Finn, and the calm resilience I discover within, aware that no matter what unfolds, I have my journal, my garden, and my faithful companion to guide me through the tempest. On a bright, cheerful afternoon, as I tended to the garden, Finn came leaping over full of his usual playful spirit, yet on this occasion, an unexpected twist unfolded. As I knelt to plant new roses, Finn showed unusual attentiveness that comforted me during lonely times. I realized I was struggling with emotions that I needed to address properly. This was more than a fleeting error. It became a comforting daily routine, finding solace in Finn's loyal companionship. This went on for weeks, my heart racing with a mix of remorse and thrill each time. Yet our neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, a curious widow with an abundance of free time, had been observing from her window. One day she witnessed the unfolding of our questionable exchanges. Mrs. Thompson had noticed some troubling signs in my behavior and became concerned. Her eyes, keen and resolute, had observed the secret waltz between me and Finn. She chose not to address the matter right away. Instead, she lingered, her quiet presence pressing down on my thoughts. As the days stretched into a week, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Each time I encountered her, her eyes felt like they could see right into my soul, uncovering the hidden truth within me. Despite my efforts to avoid confrontation, our tightly knit community made it inevitable. One bright morning, while I tended to the garden, Mrs. Thompson came over to chat. With each step she took, there was purpose in her stride, and her expression remained resolute and unwavering. Sloane started, her voice steady yet soft. "I've noticed the connection you've been building with Finn. It feels unjust, and it's an issue I cannot overlook." My heart felt heavy. The world around me faded into the background as her words struck me with the force of a tangible impact. I hesitated, searching for the right words, yet they eluded me. She went on. "I've been pondering my next steps. I could share my thoughts with Dean, or I could reach out to the authorities, but I've chosen a different path altogether." She took a moment, allowing the weight of her forthcoming words to resonate. "Please pause for a moment. I would like you to visit my home every Sunday for tea, where we can have a conversation about your actions. If you choose not to comply, I will be compelled to share my thoughts openly." The message was unmistakable. Mrs. Thompson had a knack for weaving tales about the lives of those around her. She had taken on the role of my guardian, a quiet observer of my every move. I nodded, feeling the undeniable influence she had over me. As she turned and walked away, I remained in the garden, the hose still running. my hands trembling with unspoken thoughts. From that day, a new chapter began in my life. Sundays transformed into a moment of reflection as I found myself in Mrs. Thompson's excessively floral living room, sipping tea that carried the weight of remorse. She would weave tales of morality, of the sacred bond of marriage, and of the strangeness surrounding my actions with Finn. Every word echoed my remorse, every sip a harsh recognition of my disgrace. At home, my encounters with Finn took on a different hue. Every time I glanced his way, Mrs. Thompson's judgmental gaze seemed to linger in my mind. The easy moments we shared now carried an undercurrent of sadness and regret. Yet even with the influence Mrs. Thompson had over me, there remained a part of me that couldn't completely surrender. The excitement, the liberation from the dullness of my existence remained hidden just below the weight of my remorse. In the quiet moments, I often found myself reflecting on the loneliness that had overwhelmed me with Finn's presence as a bittersweet comfort. Yet with every clandestine gathering, the anxiety of being uncovered intensified. Mrs. Thompson's gaze was fixed on me, her anticipation palpable as if she were poised for the moment. I would falter, ready to seize the opportunity to intervene.
My existence had transformed into a fragile dance where I navigated the thin line between upholding an appearance of normalcy and embracing the allure of the forbidden. As the weeks unfolded, the tension started to reveal itself. Dean observed that my focus had shifted, and I seemed less present in our discussions.
He believed it was due to stress, maybe from tending to the garden or the chores around the house, unaware of the real cause of my inner chaos. One evening, as we gathered around the dinner table, Dean extended his hand across the table, gently enveloping mine. "Sloane, there's something about you that feels changed these days. Is all well?" His worry was sincere, his gaze probing into mine for the reality beneath the surface. I managed to put on a smile, but it felt like a bitter truth lingering on my tongue. "I'm feeling worn out, Dean. Perhaps it's time for a pause, a moment to step back." He nodded, a glimmer of comprehension passing over him, yet a shadow of uncertainty danced in his gaze. I realized I was creating distance between us, yet the other option was beyond my imagination. The following Sunday, while I found myself in Mrs. Thompson's living room, her words cut through the air and her gaze held an intensity that felt almost tangible. "It seems you've been on quite the journey, haven't you?" she inquired, her tone icy. I shook my head, the truth spilling from my lips like a well-worn tale. "I'm giving it my best shot, Mrs. Thompson, but it certainly has its challenges. It's meant to be a journey. Sloane, it's meant to be correct. Yet the price I paid was my liberty, my tranquility, and maybe even the essence of who I am." As I departed from her home that day, the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the street with elongated shadows. As I made my way home, every step felt weighed down by the weight of my decisions. Finn welcomed me at the entrance, his tail wagging joyfully, his eyes sparkling with affection and purity. I knelt down, drawing him near, savoring the comforting warmth of his fur against my cheek. "I regret what happened, Finn," I murmured softly, aware that our bond had irrevocably changed, that the purity we once knew was now forever tainted by the looming presence of Mrs. Thompson's vigilant eyes. In the kitchen, I paused as the F-Dant door slammed shut, a harbinger of the tempest that loomed on the horizon, ready to sweep us away. Dean's voice, more powerful than I had ever experienced, echoed my name infused with a blend of fury and a sense of being W. Dean.
As I stood there, a heavy weight settled in my chest. Realizing that the moment I had feared was finally here, I switched off the stove, leaving the dinner I had been crafting behind, and made my way to the living room. Dean stood there, his face a canvas of swirling emotions, his eyes wide, reflecting a sense of disbelief that seemed almost palpable. Mrs. Thompson stood next to him, her face reflecting a mix of determination and triumph, her binoculars held tightly in her grip as if they were a tool of power. "Sloane, can you share what's going on here?" Dean's voice carried a blend of uncertainty and pain. Mrs. Thompson shares tales of experiences, experiences that are beyond my wildest imagination. My knees buckled, the room swirling around me as I struggled to articulate my thoughts. Dean let me share what happened. I began, my voice soft and hesitant. Could you share more details, Sloane? So you've had some time with Finn. His voice faltered on the final word, his expression twisting with anguish and incredulity. Mrs. Thompson took a step ahead, her voice firm and filled with judgment. I've witnessed it, Dean. I've witnessed her with the dog in manners that feel unusual, unsettling. The walls seemed to draw nearer, wrapping around me in a tight embrace. I gazed at Dean, witnessing the man I cherished, the future father of our children, unraveling right in 15 of my eyes.
Dean, there's more to this than meets the eye. I begged yet. As the sounds escaped my mouth, I realized how empty they felt. That's not how I see it, he reiterated, his voice growing louder.
Sloane, what were you thinking? How could you shatter the bond we built, the faith we shared in such a way? Emotion surged within me, not solely from the clash, but from the deep understanding of the distance I had traveled from where I once stood. There was a deep sense of solitude within me. Dean, in a moment of despair, I found myself ensnared, leading to a regrettable choice. The emptiness caught me off guard, leaving me unsure of how to navigate through it. Mrs. Thompson interjected, her voice sharp and cutting through the air. Isolation does not justify such wickedness. Sloane, seeking assistance from a qualified expert is essential. Dean turned to her, his voice taking on a gentler tone. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Mrs. Thompson. This is something I must take care of. With a nod, she signaled the end of her journey, leaving us amidst the remnants of what was once a serene sanctuary. With the door softly shutting behind her, an overwhelming hush enveloped the space. Dean gazed at me, his eyes probing for something elusive, maybe the woman he believed he understood. Sloane, I seek clarity. What led us to this moment? I inhaled deeply, feeling the burden of my revelation pressing down on me. It all began during your absence on that business trip. When Mark arrived, a spark ignited within me, yet when he departed, the solitude deepened. Finn was present, offering a warmth that wrapped around like a cozy blanket. It was a mistake, I realize, yet it seemed like a way out. Dean's expression grew stern. A journey to freedom. From what, Sloane? Is it from me, about our journey together? No, Dean, not from you, from the monotony, from the sensation of merely going through the motions. Yet in hindsight, I realize it was a grave, grave error. He wandered the room, his fingers tangled in his hair, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. And Mrs. Thompson, she's been observing us, evaluating us, and you didn't think to share that with me. Fear gripped me. Dean, fearful of being without you, fearful of the impact this might have on our journey together. He halted his restless movements, his eyes boring into mine. So what's our next move, Sloane? I'm uncertain. I confess, my voice trembling. I feel a stinging urge to set this straight, to bring it to the right place. It has become clear to me that assistance is what I require. Yet I find myself in need of you, Dean. Let's navigate this journey side by side. Dean sank into the couch, a weight of thoughts pressing down on him as he buried his face in his hands. Give me a moment. Sloane, a moment to reflect, to unravel everything that's happening. I care for you deeply, yet at this moment, I'm uncertain about the true essence of those feelings. In the stillness of the room, the only sound was the clock's steady ticking, each second unfolding like a tale waiting to be told. I sat beside him, hesitant to reach out, sensing the growing distance between us. With each fleeting second, I'll sleep in the guest room tonight, he finally said, his voice carrying a hint of detachment. We'll share more tomorrow, after I've had a chance to reflect. I nodded, feeling the burden of my choices pressing down on me, the outcomes now revealed for all to see. As he prepared to walk away, I leaned in and murmured, I'm sorry, Dean, for all that has transpired. He lingered at the threshold, His silhouette turned away from me before he stepped into the distance, leaving me to grapple with my swirling thoughts, my remorse, and the chilling awareness that our existence, our aspiration now dangled, precariously endangered by the darkness I had allowed to seep into our sanctuary. Dean burst into the kitchen, his face flushed with anger. Sloan, I've heard some intriguing tales about you and Finn. Care to share? His voice carried a blend of pain and rage. As I held the spatula, my heart raced with anticipation. It was an event shrouded in mystery, an occurrence that defied explanation and left one grappling for understanding. I attempted to voice my thoughts, to share something, anything at all. Yet the words eluded me. Dean's gaze delved into my own, seeking any hint of the woman he believed he understood. The stillness was overwhelming, punctuated solely by Finn's bewildered whimpers from the shadows. In a moment of insight, I understood the weight of my choices. Dean, I'm truly sorry, was all I could manage, tears flowing down my cheeks. He gazed at me, his face revealing a blend of astonishment and sorrow. Did you see it, Sloan? What led you to make this choice? For us, for Finn. The walls seemed to draw nearer, as if the space itself was tightening around me. The walls of our once cozy home now felt like a prison, confining me within the weight of my own remorse. It wasn't as you imagined, Dean. It was an error, a dreadful error. Dean's voice soared a vivid expression of his mounting frustration. Could it be an error, Sloan? This is not just a simple oversight. This is truly more than I ever envisioned. I settled into a chair, the heaviness of my revelation anchoring me in place. There was a deep sense of solitude within me. Dean, in your absence, especially after Mark's departure, a profound sense of solitude enveloped me. Finn was present, offering solace, yet deep down I understood it was misguided. So misguided, Dean moved restlessly around the room, his hands tightly balled into fists. And what about Mrs. Thompson? She has been observing us, evaluating our every move, and you never thought to share that with me. What's the duration of this situation? It all began with Mark's visit. It was as if I were trapped, gasping for breath. In the monotony of existence, Finn was simply present. And in that moment, it transformed into something entirely different. My voice trembled, the weight of my choices crashing down on me with every syllable. Dean halted his restless movements, pivoting to meet my gaze, with eyes that felt as if they could see into my very soul. Sloan, I'm eager to hear what you have to share. Did you ever have any feelings for Finn? I shook my head, my vision clouded by tears. Oh, Dean, it wasn't quite that way. It was a tale of liberation, a rush that danced on the edge of the taboo. My feelings for him weren't of that nature. It was a fleeting moment, a brief slip in resolve. He took a seat across from me. His expression transformed into one of deep sadness. And what about our journey, Sloan? What lies ahead for our union, our journey together? What journey do we take to overcome this? I'm eager to make this right, Dean. I've come to realize that I could use some assistance, yet I find myself in need of you as well. Let's embark on this journey side by side. My voice carried a longing yearning for a glimmer of compassion or insight. Dean's gaze drifted, his thoughts clearly caught in a storm of conflict. Give me a moment, Sloan. A moment to reflect, to unravel everything that's happening. I care for you deeply, yet at this moment, I'm uncertain about the true essence of that feeling. The quiet that enveloped us was heavy with untold tales, laden with the richness of our past and the mystery of what lay ahead. I observed him, sensing the gap between us, grow deeper with each passing second. This evening, I'll be resting in the guest room. He spoke at last, his tone flat and unfeeling. Let's continue our conversation tomorrow after I've had a chance to reflect. As he prepared to walk away, I leaned in and softly said, I'm sorry, Dean, for all that has happened. He lingered at the threshold. His silhouette turned away from me before he stepped into the distance, leaving me to grapple with my swirling thoughts, my remorse, and the chilling awareness that our existence, our aspiration now dangled, precariously endangered by the darkness I had allowed to seep into our sanctuary. The night unfolded slowly, every passing minute dragging on as if it were an eternity. I found myself in our bed solitude, enveloping me, the vacant space beside me, a poignant symbol of the chasm I had forged. The house was still an unsettling stillness that enveloped me as the familiar rhythm of Dean's breathing and gentle snoring faded into the heavy silence I had created. I reflected on Finn, his wide-eyed innocence, his joyful tail wagging, and the way I had tainted something so pure. The burden of guilt pressed heavily upon me, a tangible force constricting my breath. It became clear to me that transformation was necessary to reach out for support, not solely for my own sake, but for Dean, for Finn, and for the shared journey we had created. As the first light of dawn filtered softly through the curtains, I found myself at a crossroads, ready to embrace a new chapter. I would reach out for support, confiding in someone who could help illuminate my path through this shadowy time. I would embark on a journey to repair the pieces I had shattered, to earn back Dean's faith, and to rediscover who I truly am. With a weight on my chest, I rose, put on my clothes, and made my way to the kitchen where Dean sat, his coffee still, his eyes weary and rimmed with red from a restless night. Dean, I started, my voice unwavering, even as turmoil raged within me. I'm seeking assistance. I seek to unravel this, to grasp the reasons behind my actions, and to make certain it never recurs. He gazed at me, his face a canvas of mystery. I truly hope you mean that, Sloan. As I'm uncertain about how much more our relationship can endure, I truly mean it. I declared my determination unwavering. My heart belongs to you, Dean. Our journey together brings me so much joy. This won't be the end of our journey. He nodded slowly, a flicker of optimism beginning to shine in his gaze. Time will tell, Sloan. Time will tell. And with that, we embarked on a gradual and challenging path of restoration and healing, knowing that the road to forgiveness could be arduous, yet recognizing that the pursuit of it was the initial stride toward redemption. The aftermath unfolded like a tapestry of feelings. That night, Dean departed, seeking a moment to reflect on all that had transpired. As I found myself alone with Finn, an unspoken understanding hung between us, as if he could feel the weight of the moment. In the days that followed, Dean and I engaged in conversation, though it was more him listening as I shared my thoughts, not to defend myself, but to reveal my truths. Our marriage teetered on the edge, yet through counseling and deep reflection, we chose to embark on a journey of rebuilding. It was a challenging time with trust broken and the murmurs of the community echoing the weight of our controversy. It takes me back to that initial meeting with Dr. Helen, our therapist. Her office was a haven of tranquility, bathed in gentle light and infused with the soothing aroma of lavender. Dean sat across from me, his gaze wandering his body, tense and unmoving. Sloan. Dr. Helen began, her voice soft but resolute. Let's take a moment to delve into the journey that brought you here. I inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the words resting on my tongue. It was a profound sense of isolation. Dr. Helen, an overwhelming emptiness that clung to me even in Dean's presence. And then came Mark. His visit ignited a spark within me, a yearning for a new adventure, a quest for something greater. Dean's eyes darted in my direction, his face a canvas of mystery. "And Finn?" he inquired, his voice tinged with a blend of pain and intrigue. That was my way out. I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper. It was a misstep, a true misstep. Yet in those fleeting instances, I sensed recognition. I felt vibrant. Dr. Helen nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "So what emotions are stirring within you at this moment?" With a heavy heart, I glanced at Dean, feeling the weight of remorse and the longing to mend what I had shattered, silently searching for a glimmer of empathy in his eyes. The gatherings unfolded week after week. We shared tales of our aspirations, our anxieties, and the everyday moments of our existence that had quietly woven themselves into the fabric of our unraveling. Gradually, the distance that separated us started to diminish, not through bold strides, but with careful movements. Dean began to open up, revealing his own struggles, with feelings of inadequacy, and his deep-seated fear that he might not be enough for me. I believed I was taking care of us, Sloane. One evening, he opened up, his voice trembling, as he admitted that he hadn't noticed the void you carried within. "I understand, Dean. I should have shared with you, should have discovered a way to connect, instead of what I chose to do." I responded, my eyes brimming with emotion. After many years, we finally discovered a new way of life. Finn's journey spanned many years, and while the echoes of those moments remained, we discovered the strength to press on, holding on to the past, yet embracing the power of letting go. The murmurs of the community drifted away, giving way to the joyful sounds of our children's laughter, the flourishing of our garden, and the gentle bond we nurtured anew. Did Sloane and Dean's union endure the greatest challenge to their devotion? Indeed, it certainly did. It was a tale woven with struggle, where we confronted our deepest shadows, yet emerged into the light of renewal. We discovered that love transcends the joyful moments. It's about weathering the storms together, about making the choice to stand by one another daily, even when faced with challenges. Our love faced challenges pushed to the edge. Yet amid the counseling, the tears and the conversations, as we rebuilt trust, we discovered a more profound bond. We discovered the art of connection, revealing not only the events of our days, but also the innermost fears and aspirations that dwell within us. And Finn, our steadfast friend, stayed with us, his presence a lasting echo of the purity we once embraced and the intricate web of feelings we had crafted together. He departed this world, gently enveloped in affection, his legacy forever imprinted in our souls, as a testament to our voyage from shadow to brilliance. Our marriage, much like a flourishing garden, required attention, nurturing, and thoughtful cultivation. It had changed from what it once was, yet there was a sense that it might have improved. It was genuine, unfiltered, and steadfast. We stood at the edge of darkness, and together we decided to return to the brightness side by side, with a bond that had weathered the flames and come out resilient, if not unscathed. If you found this tale captivating, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. This will assist us in crafting more captivating narratives for you.